Hello everyone. In this video we are going to do the chapter 2 of Punjab Board Computer Science, that is control statements in C language. अगर मैं कोई प्रोग्राम लिखती हूँ तो उस प्रोग्राम में जो इंस्ट्रक्शंस एग्जीक्यूट हो रही हैं दे गोना एग्जीक्यूट लाइन बाय लाइन, द फर्स्ट लाइन, सेकेंड लाइन, थर्ड लाइन, लाइक दैट. But sometimes we want to control the flow of execution of instructions. For example, अगर पर्सन अपनी एक एज डाल रहा है, लाइक ही इज 20 ईयर्स ओल्ड, हमारा एक प्रोग्राम है इन विच वी आर आस्किंग दैट व्हाट इज द एज एंड द पर्सन इज एंटरिंग 20 ईयर्स ओल्ड, तो वहां पे लिखा है कि पर्सन इज एलिजिबल टू वोट, अदरवाइज लिखा है कि इट इज यू आर नॉट एलिजिबल. तो यहाँ पे उन दोनों ब्लॉक्स में से कोई एक इंस्ट्रक्शन ही एग्जीक्यूट होगी. So that means we are controlling the flow of statement. वो line by line execute ना होकर they are executing according to some conditioning. So that is branching of instructions. That is the first thing, branching of instructions. Sometimes we want to do the task again and again. एक ही task को हम बार बार करना चाहते हैं. So that is looping. तो वहां पे भी इंस्ट्रक्शन, सपोज ये 3 लाइनें मैं बार बार करना चाहती हूँ तो 3 के बाद वो दोबारा फर्स्ट पे जाएगा. सो इट इज नॉट गोइंग लाइन बाय लाइन, इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू द फोर्थ लाइन, इट इज अगेन गोइंग टू द फर्स्ट. सो दैट इज लूपिंग. थर्ड इज जंपिंग. समटाइम्स मुझे कोई लाइन ऑफ कोड को स्किप करना है, मैं नहीं चाहती वो एग्जीक्यूट हो, सो इन दैट केस वी गोना डू जंपिंग. सो मैं कंट्रोल कर सकती हूँ स्टेटमेंट्स को सी लैंग्वेज में ईदर बाय ब्रांचिंग, लूपिंग और जंपिंग. Branching में हमारे पास we have several things. First is if statement, second is if else, third is else if, fourth is nested if, fifth is the switch. Now what are these? If statement is used if we want to check some condition. So how do we use if? We write down if, then we write down the round brackets. If your age is greater than 18 or equals to 18, then we put the curly brackets to define what should happen. So there should be a print. What should be printed? You can vote. That means you are eligible to vote, right? So this is if statement. If we want to check some condition, then where do we write down the condition? In round brackets, and what should happen we write down in curly brackets. You can see here I have written what I want to do in curly brackets. Okay, so this is if statement to check some condition. If else is to check some condition, but there is also else case in which you define what should happen if is not true. So if is not true, in that case what we want to print? We want to print you are not eligible to vote, or you cannot vote. So that is if else. So if and if else are used to check some condition. If is true, this is going to get executed, otherwise else part is going to execute it. Now what is else if? Else if to check multiple conditions. For example, if I want to make a program for the traffic lights, right? We want on the red it should stop, on yellow it should wait, and on green it should go. So here that program cannot be made using if else. In that case we need if else if. So if I will change it here, lights are what? If lights are green, it should print go. It should print go. Else if I will check the second condition, else if second condition is lights is equals to yellow. If lights are yellow, what it should print? Wait, right? Again, I want to check the third condition. So else if third condition is light is green, red, sorry. Then what should happen? Then it should print, wait, sorry, stop, right? So this is the if else if. If else if. It is known as else if, also known as if else if, to check multiple condition. Nested means loop inside a loop or condition inside a condition. If I'm writing if inside if, suppose this is a if block, in round brackets we check the condition, in curly brackets we define what should happen, right? And inside this if, I am writing one more if. Inside this if, I am writing one more if. Then it will be known as nested if. It will be known as nested if. So if inside if is known as nested if. Next is switch. What is switch? So what is nested if? It is if inside if. Now what is nested if? Nested if is same as if else if. It is also to check multiple conditions. The only difference is how we write it down. The only difference is how we write it down. So let us see the branching, all the 5 things. Okay, so this is the chapter, that is control statements in C. So first is branching, looping and jumping. In branching, we have if statement, if else, else if, nested if and switch. So if round brackets, here we check the condition and here we mention what should happen. For example, if here I am checking the condition, marks is greater than 33, what should happen? It should print pass. Okay. Now what is if else if? Sorry, if else, if round brackets, marks are greater than 33, it should mention pass. Otherwise, that is else, it should mention you are fail. If else if, to check multiple conditions. So if marks is greater than 80, grade A. Else if condition, marks is greater than 60, grade B. Else if greater than 40, grade C. Else it should print grade D. Right? So if else if is used to check multiple condition. Nested if is like if inside if. So this is one if statement from here to here, and inside that I am having another if statement. So if inside if is known as nested if. Next is switch case. Switch case is also like if else if, where we check the multiple conditions. How we do that? Let us check. So we write down switch. Here we mention which variable. Let's say the variable is day. And here I am checking the first constant. Here I am checking the first constant, then second, then third. So if I am writing here that day is 1, then it should print what? It is Sunday. Right? If the day is 2, then it should mention that it is Monday. So it should work like that. And to close every switch statement, we use break. For closing every case here, what do we use? Break. What break will do? Break will automatically take you out of the loop of switch. Okay. So if switch day, if day case 1, then it will be Monday. Same way case 7, it will be Sunday. And to close all the cases, we use break. So let's say the day is 5. So it will check the case 1, not true, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes it is 5. Then it will print Friday, and break means it will not check the further cases and get out of the switch. This is how it will work. The next is looping. Looping control statements. Now, why do we use looping? And what is loop? Let us see. In looping, first we have for, second we have while, third we have do while. Now, what is it? If I say we want to do a same thing again and again. For example, I want to print 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So if I will say what is the starting value here, you will say start is 1. If I ask what is ending value here, you will say end, it is ending at 5. And if I'll say every time it is incrementing or increasing by how much? Every time it is increasing by 1. So there are three things in loop: starting value, ending value, and by how much it is increasing. So all the three do the same thing, only the way of writing is different. For example, for 4, it will work like this. 4, let us say there is a variable I, it will start from 1 and it will go up to 5, and every time it will increase by 1. So I plus plus means increasing by 1. Then we put the curly brackets and we will print I. So this is how 4 works. In 4, we write down all the three things, whether it's starting, ending, or incrementing. So here we write down starting, here we write down ending, and here we write down by how much it is increasing. So all the three things is here only. Okay. In while, how does it work? Let us see that. So for while, it works like this. So first I make a variable I starting from 1, while, then round brackets to check the condition I is less than or equals to 5. What should happen? We mention in curly brackets what should happen. So it should print the value of I, and it should increase the I by 1. So I should become I plus 1. So I plus plus can also be written as I equals I plus 1. So all the three things, starting value is here, ending value is here, by how much it is increases here. This is how we write down the while. Next come do while. How does do while work? Let us check that. So in do while, we write down I equals 1, the initial value, the starting value. Do, what it should do, we mention here. So it should print I, it should print the value of I, and it should increase the value of I by 1 every time. So it should be inside the do. And when it should do? While I is less than or equals to 5. So only how we are checking it is different. Rest, everything is same. So where are we writing the initial value? Here. Where are we increasing it? Here. Ending is here. So we are checking the condition at the last. So this is known as post the loop. And this is pre-test, where we check the condition first. Here we are checking the condition. Here we are checking the condition. So when we check the conditions first, it is known as pre. When we are checking the conditions last, that is post. So for and while is pre and do while is post. Okay. So we have three kind of loop that we have studied: for, while, do while. Okay. Next is jumping. How do we jump from one to another statement? So there are three ways of doing it. First is break. Second is continue. Third is go to. So what is break? Let us suppose there is a loop 4. In 4 we have three things. Let us starting from 1 and I is going up to, let's say, 5, and every time I is increasing by 1, and this is a loop that gonna happen again and again, and we are printing it, print I, and now I am putting break statement. So what will happen? So break will take you out of the loop. So this is the work of break. In switch also we use break. It will take out of the loop. Okay. Second is continue. If in a loop we are mentioning continue somewhere, let's suppose I am writing continue. So what does continue will do? And after that there are some statements. So let's suppose after break also there are some statements. Okay, there are some statements, but it will not get executed. It will directly take you out of the loop. Now comes the continue statement. What will continue do? Let's suppose after continue also there are many statements. So those statements will not get executed. It will directly take you in the starting of the loop to recheck again. So break will take you out of the loop. It will take you in the starting of the loop to check it again. It will skip the rest of the statements. So these statements will not get executed. But break will take you end of the loop, out of the loop. Continue will take to the start of the loop to recheck it. Now what is go to? Go to is the simplest one. Let's say there is a code of start, and in this we have written many line of code, and then again here I'm mentioning that go to start. So what will happen? So instead of, let's suppose after it also there are many line of code. So what will happen? It will not execute these lines. If I'm saying go to start, it will directly go to start and execute this block again. So that is go to statements. So this is second chapter in which we learned about branching, looping, jumping. Branching, we have if to check condition, if else to check condition. If it's true, this should happen, else this should happen. If else if to check multiple conditions. For example, we have done traffic lights. Nested if is like if inside if. Switch is same as if else if, right? To check multiple conditions. Only the way of writing is different. Looping, we have for loop, while loop, do while loop. Only the way of writing is different. Rest it's same. It has starting value, ending value, and increment. Third, it can be increment as well as decrement. Third thing we have learned is jumping, in which we have studied break, continue, and go to statements. So revise the chapter. Let us see the questions also. Go through them just once so that you also get a confidence that yes, we knew the concepts, right? So conditional statement, where we check the conditions. In for, break, while. For and while are what? Loops. Break is like for jumping. For checking the condition, we use if. Switch case, in which we check the multiple conditions. Multiple conditions we check in if else if. Terminate a case in the switch statement. Terminate means to break it, to get out of it. We use the break keyword. Post test loop. So there are three types of loop: for, while, do while. So for and while we check the condition prior, and in do while we check the condition later. So it is a post test loop. Jumping, in jumping we have three: break, continue, and go to. While is not jumping, it is for looping. Filling the blanks, conditions are tested before, that is pre-loop, tested after, that is post-loop. We have to skip some statements, we use continue. We have to check multiple conditions, then we have switch cases. To terminate a case, we use break to terminate a case and switch statements, switch cases, right? Okay, so this is all about second chapter. Read the question and answers, read the chapter. If you get any doubt anywhere, you can ask me in the comment section. Bye bye, take care.